Hi, Amber.
Hi everyone. Hello, Nalanie. Thank you
Namaste, namaste, namaste.
so much, and thank you and your team so much for inviting me to participate this evening.
Oh, Amber, I have known you for so many years, and that's the reason why I've invited you tonight. I've known you since you were a young girl and danced in my dance group. Always so full of life, always so enthusiastic. I always thought you would end up as a performer, but instead you became a lawyer. So, would you introduce yourself and tell us what made you go into this profession?
Sure. Well, first of all, I think lawyers are in a way performers, especially barristers. And I remember being invited once to an interview for a job in Bristol, where they asked me. They said, what made you want to become a lawyer? And I said, I think I'm a frustrated actress, actually. But the reason why I decided to pursue a career in law is because when I was age 5, my parents separated, and the separation wasn't an easy one. Of course, at the time, I was very young and I wasn't totally aware of what was going on, but it was quite traumatic to the extent that we had to relocate, move back from England to Gibraltar. I had to change schools, I had to make new friends, learn the Spanish language as well as the English language, which I was already familiar with. But in Gibraltar, as we know, there's a lot of switching. So anyway, there were many changes. And but it was when I was age 12, whilst my mum was out at work and I had just come back from school, that I was looking for something, and I accidentally, or not, as fate would have it, came across my parents' divorce file. By the age of 12, obviously, I was able to read through the file and appreciate what exactly my mother had gone through at that time. And, again, it was the basis of the lies that I could read through the correspondence between the lawyers, and, the untruths, the harm that was caused, to my mom, who was quite young at the time, and of course to us. And I think that at age 12, I was already mature enough to appreciate how this had had such a strong and quite a negative impact, quite a harmful impact on my family. At the age of 12, of course, and younger, I felt that I had no power to have to right the wrongs, if you like, or to somehow change what had happened. But what I was then determined to do was, moving forward into the future, was to get myself into a position where I could influence what happened in these kind of situations of separation and divorce. So as a lawyer, you gain that position of influence, and through the court system, and now outside the court system, through mediation, and through what I've developed as what I call a holistic law model.
Yeah. Amber, tell me something about this holistic module, and tell me as well, being a woman in a very male orientated profession, how was it for you? How could you keep your values of truth and justice? Not only that, we are told, right, that nowadays, and many people here would agree with me, when you go to a lawyer, it's all about money. Where's the justice? I know I put 3 questions in one, but I think you can answer them all together. Where is the justice? And do you really value this law? How do you do it?
Right. So I started Amber Law in 2013. By then, I'd been practicing law for about 14 years. And yes, I had been working in other law firms where still, at least locally, it's very much a patriarchal system. There's, the women are outnumbered by the men in positions of what I would say influence and power within those structures. It's changing, which is the good news. And I think it's changed a lot since I graduated in 1999. But still, at the time that I was going through, if you like, the first few years of my career, I found it very hard. I found it very, very challenging. Why? Because, for instance, I'll just tell you a short story of what happened on my very, very first day of work as a barrister. And as you can imagine, after so many years of study and exams and and passion, for what I thought was going to be a career in service to others, I arrived at the law firm to be given the introductory talk. So I was just sat there with my new suit on and feeling really, really inspired and excited. And the talk was about money. It really was. That was it. The focus was on, you're here to build, you need to collect so much money every month. These are the budgets, this is the target, this is what you need to bring in. And it went further, actually. They also brought in competition with other peers. So every month they would put up, visible to all, obviously, a ledger which showed how much money people were, each lawyer was collecting for that month. Now, obviously in businesses we need to make money, absolutely, and of course we have to be paid value for the service we're providing. But what I found very difficult to deal with was the fact that I was thinking, well, where's the inspirational talk about selfless service to others, doing justice in the world, making our community a safer place, elevating social justice? What about all of that? Because to be honest, I think that I'm not alone in saying that there's many lawyers and law students who are out there who decide to follow a career in law because they really want to make a difference. So I found that hard.
Let me just interrupt you there. That is absolutely true. In my life, I've counseled 3 lawyers who've studied hard to be lawyers, but in the end, actually went into the law firm and realized it's the last thing they wanted to do because it was all about money. So this is absolutely a fact. So please carry on. Yeah.
There's actually, I'm glad you've said that, because in the UK, at least, the Law Society have statistics now on how many lawyers are suffering from depression, how many are suffering from other symptoms of stress, like sleeplessness, palpitations, stress, anxiety, depression, and even suicide. And so the suicide rates among lawyers in the UK is about 3 times higher than the national average.
Wow.
So that speaks volumes. And one thing I want to talk about today and share with you about truthfulness is something that you've mentioned before in your introductory talk, which is about, for me, truthfulness is about working in alignment with who we are as human beings, in alignment with our purpose, in alignment with our mission in this world. And so when you're moving away from that truth, what you're doing is, I think, causing yourself harm. And whether we're conscious of it or not, and a lot of people are at different stages of awareness and awakening in this process. But if you're not aware and you're not awake, of course, you might not know where to go to get those tools. I was so blessed and so lucky to have you in my life from a very young age. That I came to the centers, pretty much after that you founded it in Gibraltar over 25 years ago. I was really lucky. I had you, I had your guidance, I had your support, your direction. I had the teachings of Patanjali through the Raj Yoga course, through Swami Satchidananda's translation. And you gave us tools. You gave us tools which I have used in my practice as a holistic lawyer. And when I called Amber Law, it was for 2 reasons. First of all, because Amber is my name, but also because Amber is a healing stone. And to me, lawyers are here on this earth to assist clients to resolve the conflict they're in, resolve the disputes they're in, to get through that legal process, but in a way that will lead them to a place of peace of mind, harmony, and well-being. And in order to do that, what I've done in effect is use the same tools that I used to help myself through the process as a guide for my clients to do the exact same thing. So not just the Raj Yoga teachings, but for example, mantras, repetition of positive affirmations. I used breathing techniques every time before I was about to go to court. I'm not even joking. It's like, let's breathe. I don't know what people are thinking in the toilet cubicle next to me. Sound of me heavy breathing. But, and the Hatha yoga classes helped tremendously. And whilst, of course, I have slipped back from practice. What's very important to remain grounded in truth, to remain grounded in truthfulness and honesty and integrity, in all these other values which are connected to truthfulness, and so on. You need to keep to the practice. And of course, but I have slipped back. There have been many times when I have got busy, forgotten the practice, suffered the consequences, and then said, right, time to go back to see Nalanie and back to my class and back to the practice. So with holistic law, what I've done is to say, just to give you practical examples,
Mm-hmm.
in the context of law firms which advocate fee earning as the top priority over and above every other value, what can happen is, I'm not saying this happens all the time, but what may happen, the danger is that when there's a chance to settle a case early, rather than go for the early settlement, rather than be sensible, fair, reasonable, and so on, lawyers might think, no, I need to take this case all the way through to litigation, all the way through the courts. This needs to take at least another 6 months so that I can earn the fees that I need to earn to look good in this firm, to become eventually a partner in this firm, to to progress in my career. And so what I have done is practice the opposite in the sense that I've turned it around and I've said, of course, yes, of course I have to earn a fee, but I am not going to live a life or work from a place of fear. And I think that in any profession, in any place of work that you're operating in, you will come in every day and work, as in think, speak, and act from either a place of love or a place of fear. If you're in love, you're not in lack, you're in abundance. And if you're in abundance, you're also in the faith that whatever you do, and if you're truthful, if you stick to that integrity, that the good you do will stay with you. It's when you're in fear that you come into this lack mentality, that then you think, no, I can't possibly settle this case early, or I need to sell this person something they don't actually need, or I'm going to say that this car requires, it's 4 tires changing rather than just the oil change, and so on and so forth, because this can be translated to any service industry. This example, you then know that, if you go from lack, it's just basically about fear and greed. But we know that all of that leads to us feeling stressed and anxious and out of sync with whom we really are.
Oh, and I can really vouch for that. The amount of clients you sent me, and you tell them, please try and, get along amicably, do this divorce quickly. So I know, I can vouch for you, Amber. You really have done the best for your clients. And, sometimes one of your clients as a couple came to me, and as you said, so many, and one of the lawyers was advocating that they ask for more money and more money, and the other lawyer, which was you, was saying, why do you want to do this to your partner? Why do you want to do this to each other? You loved each other once upon a time. Can't you do this amicably? And when I pointed this out to both of them, and I said, which route do you want to take? War or peace? And I remember they chose peace, and they went back to you, and the case was handled very beautifully. And it's so good for the children, isn't it?
Absolutely. And
so good for the children. And I was really impressed that as a lawyer, you did that. You weren't thinking dollars and bucks. You were thinking for them. What was best for them? What was best for the family? What was best for humanity? You were thinking about their children. I so respect that. I so respect that.
Thank you, Nalanie. And no man is an island, as they say. Every person who's going through a dispute or a conflict, be it at home or at the workplace, is going to suffer, obviously, feelings, as we were saying before, of anxiety or stress or depression and so on. Everybody who's connected to that individual, children, a spouse, a partner, colleagues at work, employers, will also be affected in what I call the ripple effect. Because we don't live in islands. We're not even living, even in lockdown, we're not living in islands. We're still connected. So it's so important to me that we go to the truth of matters and that people are fair. When I, in terms of being truthful with clients, if a client has come to me and said, this is what I want you to do on my behalf, and once I've investigated the facts of the case or I've seen some evidence, I've thought, no, actually, this is not fair. This is not reasonable. You're in pain. you're lashing out, you want to punish.